A big shout out to Arthur. A big shout out to Masterpiece, man. Nice to meet you, gentlemen. It's nice to be with you. And yeah, man.
Likewise.
Hey guys, welcome to Late Night Sessions, August MCMs edition with your one and only Bean. So today I'll be spilling some beans with 3 inspirational, handsome young men that I have chosen as this month's men crushes. Gentlemen, welcome.
Yo, what's
Thank you for
happening?
having us.
Are you ready to spill some
Thank
beans?
you.
The beans shall be spilled.
Let's get to it. All right.
Okay, so tell us a bit about yourselves. Like, give us a bite-sized introduction, Yana, of whom you are, you know, what you do, where you're from, you know. I'm going to start with JSbu. Tell us about yourself.
Yo, man. My name is JSbu. I'm a radio presenter. I'm an MC. I'm a DJ. I'm a musician. I make Afro house, Afro pop. Voiceover artist as well. Grew up in Mandeni, so I'm a farm boy, north of Durban. I now work at East Coast Radio. I'm the founder of Radio DUT, which is a campus radio station of the Durban University of Technology. Yeah, man, just a basic hustler and a lover of life. I'm also a very proud father of 2. I love meeting new people. I love trying new things. And yeah, man, I just like to assist in cultivating talent where I can.
Awesome stuff. You have your fingers in every pie possible. We like
Oh,
it.
you must. You must.
We like
Must.
that.
It's necessary, yeah.
And Arthur?
Well, in a time long ago, in a land in Africa, a boy was
Once
born.
upon a time.
Proud to say, multiple award-winning entrepreneur as well as a creative entrepreneur, so private and creative sectors. I'm a television producer, also like JSbu, voiceover artist. I am a life coach. I love motivating people. I love people like you, Coach. I love you so much. I love the guys on this thing. We've only just met, but yes, I'm all about passion, purpose, and about setting standards not only in organizations but in individual life.
Short and sweet. And Bewama 2000.
Okay, well, my name is Tawan Khanaka, born in Dalmas, raised in Tembisa, you know, finished school, went to TT, dropped out because music became my passion, and that's what I pursued. So right now I'm a musician, entertainer, actually. I also do events, and yeah, basically that's me, you know. 2 sides to me, Masterpiece, the side that everyone knows, you know, the musician, and then there's Tabang, the quiet, shy person, who Masterpiece, I believe, is his alter ego. And yeah, that's me, basically.
Quiet and shy. We shall see
Yeah.
later on. We'll expose the side. So, Arthur, who inspired your journey in the industry? Who and how did Arthur the Ace get to the clouds?
I really do respect Morning Espresso presenter Katlego, in America, Ryan Seacrest. I think these are 2 individuals that really set the bar for any form of presentation. For me, I was watching the finals of American Idols a couple of years ago, and Ryan Seacrest lost sight of the teleprompter because people rushed in front of him. And those that are familiar with how you use a teleprompter, you could tell that he had lost sight, he had lost script, and he kept going. It was absolutely incredible on international live television. And I said, I want to be like this guy when I grow up. So he's been a great benchmark. And I think one important thing is that, you know, in the industry that we function in, you know, always beating your PB, your personal best. You've always got to be ahead of yourself because your relevance and your success oftentimes is very short-lived. So I look up to these guys, and I also always am challenging myself.
Awesome stuff. And JSbu, who or what has inspired your journey?
Yeah, man. I mean, I've always wanted to be in the entertainment industry, but one thing that I'm really guided by at the moment is God. I'm glad to have found God again in my life. And so, you know, with God comes fate. And you just, you know, you do whatever God needs you to do to get to where you need to get. And so at the moment, that's where I am. But I've always wanted to be in the entertainment industry from a young kid. I always knew that there was a bigger thing for me out there. There's always a bigger thing for me out there. I'm just, I keep searching and I keep trying to better myself as a person. So yeah, man, radio is one of the mediums I've always wanted to be a part of. TV is still in the pipeline. But yeah, so I just always knew that I wanted to be in the entertainment industry, and here I am.
And last but not least, Masterpiece. What inspired your journey?
Well, I've always been in the entertainment industry from a young age. Fashion used to be part of a crew that, did clothes for themselves. We'd host events, but never did I think that I'd enter the music industry. And the person that actually inspired me, to jump ship and get into this industry is Lihleza the entertainer, the creator of Umshove. I don't know if you know that guy.
I know Lihleza. I mean, who doesn't know Lihleza?
Yeah, so Lihleza inspired me because, I used to work a lot with him back when he was a DJ and I was an MC, so we'd have sets together. And when he became then a musician, then he's like, what, the same thing you're doing as an MC, you can do as a musician. And took me to studio, hooked me up with Kabza the Small, and we made music. And from that day onwards, believe you me, that guy has continued to, be setting a benchmark for me to follow, because that's the person that I actually look up to in the industry to say, what, this guy was able to make it out of nothing, and become something, and he actually inspired me, to tag the line and, join in. And it actually felt good, it was something that I felt I really loved so much. And to this day, he's my go-to guy, because I know that that's where my inspiration actually comes from.
And it's nice to see that he made it to the top, but still has time to pull more people up the ladder.
Yes.
So building and maintaining a successful career in the industry takes a lot of work and commitment. How much time do you dedicate towards your craft? I mean, a day only has 24 hours and a week just 7. So how do you now put time towards your craft and then balance your personal life and maybe your work life along with that?
Like, I feel like in life, yes, we all have 24 hours, 7 days a week. No one has 25 hours. So you make the most of the time that you're given, and how do you do that? You prioritize. What is a priority to you at this moment? That is what you give most of your time, and everything else needs to now follow onto that. So that is why even when it comes to my social life, my friends have to understand, my girlfriend has to understand, to say, this is a priority and something that, I've set out to follow and pursue in my life, and it's my purpose. So therefore I need to give it my all to make sure that by the time I leave this earth, I've delivered my utmost best towards whatever it is that I was destined to do out in this earth. So you give yourself time, you prioritize, have a list, write it down. I always say, write whatever you need to do down, because sometimes you lose track of things, write it down. On Sundays, Sundays I consider my days to work out everything for the week, sit down, plan. And I even plan even the littlest things, like call my girl, see my girl, or make time for friends. But then,
well, wherever she is, I know she can rest assured that you do factor into your day. Thank you. We love that.
I'm a reminder.
It becomes a problem, you understand? And I feel like you need to find people who understand this, because if you don't, you'd end up having toxic relationships, because you complain, say you don't have my time and all those things. So it's just a matter of priority, understanding what is a priority to you, and the fact that this is something that you're brought on this earth to do. So that's why I give it my all at all times. And even if it takes 22 hours of my 24 hours, it's okay. It's something that I was continue to do. Yeah.
I think it's such an honor to be around these guys, because you can hear from everything that they're saying. It's all about purpose, it's about passion, and at the end of the day, I like what Miles Monroe says in a message that he gives concerning vision, and he says that when you know why you are on this planet, what you are meant to be doing, it will determine what you are going to do. There are only 86,400 seconds in a day, and how you live them will determine how you live the rest of your life. Therefore, we cannot do everything at the same time. We cannot do everything we want to do. But just like Masterpiece was saying, you've got to partition your day, and you've got to allocate your time to the things that are going to move you forward. I personally believe one of the key things of or methods of achieving greatness or doing more than you can by yourself is to empower other people, to empower you. So as you start empowering people, just like what Masterpiece was saying, if Kabza the Small had not empowered him, he was going to be at the same level. And now the challenge is for him to empower other people that believe in him, that are going to work with him to become great as well. So as you develop the people that are supporting you and that are also looking up to you, firm up your foundations, you grow, and you'll be able to also grow. So your social media team, your finance, all these things will culminate into empowered people and an empowered individual like we have on your show at the moment.
These are powerful words. I'm learning.
Yeah, no, for me, man, it's 24 hours, man. Whether you are able to see it or not, it's 24 hours, man. The creative spirit never sleeps. You got to keep working and looking forward to the next big thing that you're going to do and trying to better yourself all the time. I just want to, on the backbone of what Masterpiece said, another thing that, when it comes to social life, you said, how do we balance social life and how do we balance what we want to do? For me, I've noticed how important it is to make sure that your circle is right. Because when your circle is right, it feeds to your purpose. I've been in a situation where I have friends that don't understand my purpose, therefore end up being deviated into doing other things that are unnecessary, and my creative process is ruined. So that was a learning lesson for me. So my focus right now is to have a circle where even in conversation, there's an element of creativity that I can grab and maybe use later on in the day in making a song or thinking of an idea for radio content or, whether it's whatever, So I think for me, it's always been a matter of, for now, it's a matter of just surrounding myself with the right people. So the creativity never stops. That is the social life. And when you know your purpose, you know exactly what you have to do. As Arthur said, it's right in front of you. You know how to, you know what your priorities are. You know what needs to be done first. You know what needs to be done next. So yeah, man.
So I'm gonna deviate into something a bit deeper. There's a growing movement of men working towards ending, fellow men's violence against women and children. And thus, one strategy is to engage bystanders. The majority of men say they don't rape, but many just stand by and let it happen. So this bystander intervention movement is aimed at holding men accountable. Not exactly them intervening in direct sexual assault, but I mean, if it's in your power and it's possible, please, by all means, go between. But intervening in the sense of intervening in a problematic situation. This can be shutting down sexist jokes, or intervening when you see a woman being taken advantage of, or when she's under the influence, or like in a helpless, compromising position. So what are some ways you can put the bystander approach into practice in your circles, in your spaces, where you go, where you do what you do?
For me, I thought, when you can't see each other, most. That's the problem. You can't see each other, man. No, man. For me, as a person of speech and as a person of communication, I always look at what's happening around the country with gender-based violence as a deeper issue. There's a big issue that Black men in particular don't love to engage on, and that is how to deal with your emotions, but also mental health. And I think that's the basis and the foundation.
That is the big one.
That is the basis and foundation of where everything should begin in order for solutions to be able to be established. Because if you look at the upbringing of a young Black man, he's never taught how to deal with his emotions. He's never taught about mental health. If I'm feeling some type of way, I think I'm depressed, people in the community laugh at you because they think you are shy.
We have to have this strong men don't cry mentality.
You know what I mean? And that's a problem.
That you're a man.
And that's a problem, because what inevitably happens is that men don't know how to deal with their emotions and therefore end up resorting to violence. Because they're angry, but they don't even know how and why and how they can deal with their anger. That, for me, is one of the biggest foundations that still need to be dealt with. I mean, it may stem down to the parenting of a Black male. It may stem down to the education of a Black male in school. It's a conversation that needs to be had with a lot of people, parents, teachers, communities. It's a big problem, and mental health, I feel, is the cause of what we're seeing transpire in our country at the moment.
I think he's hit the nail on the head. If you look at even research that's been done, I'll probably draw to Catherine McKinnon. She poses that men struggle with masculinity and their own personal identification within masculine norms. So I remember speaking at a men's conference in Botswana, in Gaborone, and literally everyone in the room acknowledged that, you know what, whether you've lived with your father, whether you haven't lived with your father, there are things that have not been said because as black men, we don't confront our emotions. And basically, at the end of the day, we all acknowledge that we've got daddy issues. This translates to the mistreatment of women. And unfortunately, we might say that, yes, there might be anger, but at the same time, some men have actually grown up and seen how a woman is treated in their home, and they believe that it's the correct way of doing things. I have a friend who said to me, you know what, this is the way I talk to my missus, because I called him up and I said, but why are you talking to her like that? And he said, but that's normal. And I said, it's not normal. So it's anger, it's norms, it's a cesspool. It's just a mix, guys. I don't know what you guys say, but it's a problem.
So because of all that suppressed anger, it comes out on the weakest people possible, which is the women and the children around the men.
But it's not always anger.
It's also pain and
it's not always anger.
Neglected feelings.
It's also, just to add, it's also pressure. A lot of people don't realize that to be a man, and I'm not disregarding the fact that being a woman is hard, but I can only speak on what I am. There are so many pressures in society on how to be a man and what it is to be a man. And that is a lot for some people to handle. And I think the other issue on top of what Arthur is saying is that we as men, or most men, have the wrong ideology of what it is to be a man because of how they were raised and what they see on a regular basis. Like you said, Arthur, I also have like what you said, Arthur, I also have a few friends or ex-friends of mine that believe that a woman is supposed to be treated a certain way, that a woman's place is in the kitchen and a man's place is to go out and work. We recently had an argument on the radio about the situation. There was this Umakoti boot camp that was trending on Twitter. And we were having a discussion about how there's a Makoti boot camp. A lady by the name of Ulondiwe has started something called a Makoti boot camp, where before you get married as a woman, you need to go through that process of learning how to cook a certain type of meal, how to be a wife to a husband, and how to behave. Now, a lot of people, the issue began when people misunderstood what it is. I do believe that if you don't have a certain skill, and if you know that you're not about to get into a thing like marriage, yes, you can go and learn how to do a certain meal or whatever the case may be. But it became a bigger concern because it positioned women. And even in the artwork that you used and the branding that you used, it became like a situation of a woman's place is in the kitchen. And therefore she must go through this process in order to understand what it is to be a woman. And that's where people got confused. But it's the ideology of what a man is, the ideology of what a woman is in our society is incorrect. And perhaps conversations like this help reshape
these generational gender roles.
And it's going to take us a long time. It's going to take us a long time. Trust me, it's a big problem in our society.
But we're starting to scratch the surface now. I mean,
we can scratch the surface now, but I believe like this is like a generational curse, honestly speaking, because as Arthur said, there are certain people who grew up in homes where like their parents, their mother was treated like that by their father, and it became a norm. Certain things like is what community now puts out as a norm. And so we grow up thinking it's okay to treat a woman like this. It's okay to talk to a woman like that. And the only way we can eradicate that is by us who see now that the impact of that, to change it onto the coming generation, to say, we need to stop this, so that it doesn't continue and we don't pass on this baton to, the coming generation, because this is something that was passed on from generation to generation, and until it got to us to say, this is how you treat a woman, this is what a woman is expected to do, this is what a man is expected to do, the head of the house, this is what needs to happen. Yes, there's certain things that, I consider good from that, but it's really bad when it now comes to violence, because men generally can't express themselves in the right way. And I feel the other problem is that, we ourselves are also keeping quiet about this. As you said, there's a problem with bystanders. We actually look into it and we also say, okay, it's none of my business.
None of my business, yeah.
And it's not the case, you understand?
Madam.
All my friends, exactly, because we also know we come from from hoods where we are told that snitches get stitches, and such things. Such things, growing up, don't want to be the snitch, you understand? But it's not about being a snitch. There are actually ways in which you can stop this without even getting involved, but just letting someone know to say, like, it's okay, you can talk to me at any point in given time. We know of friends who treat females badly, but we still keep quiet about it. We don't even confront our friends about it. That's wrong.
But then men should also stop this. There's this thing that goes on, that when a man is loving and communicates with his woman and, he seems soft to the other men,
it's a joke.
It comes back to Ulisiwe or got slapped with the panty and you're a soft man. How? So men also need to have these conversations amongst men and also say, guys, it's okay if you want me to accompany you to the mental clinic to find out what's really going on or whatever. Or it's okay to come and talk to me when you're stressed. So I feel like men also need to have like little, I don't know, DMCs, sit each other down and have deep, meaningful conversations.
I'm not even going to lie to you. That is such a difficult thing to get into. It's such a difficult thing, but just on the phone of what Masterpiece said, when it comes to the role of a man and when it comes to the role of a woman, there are roles. I mean, when you look at the physicality of a woman and the physicality of a man, there are certain things a man cannot do, like give birth to a child, nurture a child, raise a child, But there are things that, that a man can do, physically speaking, like pick up the table, do the DIY and the posy, or whatever the case may be, physically speaking, that requires him to lift stuff and provide energy of that requires a level of strength. Another thing is, what I'm really, really interested in is a very uncomfortable conversation that a lot of Black people don't want to have. And that is how much impact culture and tradition have on the oppression of women and the ideology, the incorrect ideology of what it is to be a man. Because that right there is the biggest one. But no one wants to talk about it.
I want to talk about it. I mean, let's have a part 2.
Everyone wants to be a patriot to their culture, but they don't understand what their culture is. The reason why women get oppressed, because according to the culture, we're taught that a woman's place is in the kitchen, and that a man is supposed to, if a woman is doing something wrong, a man must check a woman by beating her up. You know what I mean? Some cultures actually teach that. If you look at like the heads of the family, he has control of almost everything. If the man doesn't decide it's okay for it to happen. Why must a woman kneel down on her knee, kiss a man's feet just to show respect? What's that all about? What does that signify? Those are the uncomfortable conversations that needs to be had, deep down for me.
Sheesh. You did it.
Well, surely, guys, surely there are ways that we can accept that if this is how you want to show respect, then that's how you show respect. For example, in Western society, in Western culture, you open the door for a lady, okay? In another culture, someone will look at you and say that is actually absurd, right? If we are going to bow down and the woman must kneel, then if that is how we show
then that's
respect,
fine.
Then there must be then that's fine, okay? But I think where we need to draw the line is when it becomes
if you don't do it, then you get slapped or something like
that.
Just a quick one, Arthur. The whole thing of opening a door is a very nice example Opening a door is not about, it's not a gender role. Opening a door is about being nice to another person. It has nothing to do with...
gentleman.
No. You can also be a gentle lady. It's not about being a man or a female.
Yes.
Opening the door is a courteous thing. People assume it's a man-related thing. It's not. You can choose not to open the door if you don't want to, if you're not raised that way per se. But my thing is, when you take a picture of a woman kneeling down, kissing a man's feet, to someone who looks at that without any context, it paints a different picture. And that's what I'm really worried about. And I know that there are some traditional norms that have to happen because of signs of respect and whatever, but some of them are very sketchy, and some of them don't belong in our modern society. Especially, my confusion is always this: we believe so much in the Western way of doing things, and here we have technology because of Westernized life. But why is it difficult for us to identify the wrong things in our culture, to say it does not belong in this life and this timeline?
There's definitely going to be a part 2 of this discussion. I'm promising you guys.
Yeah. Sorry, if I may, if I may just respond very, very quickly, very, very quickly. I not to get caught up in the details of context, because if we now want to articulate individual examples of shows of respect or culture, I feel we might get distracted to the core issue here. There are acceptable actions, expressions of respect.
Pure etiquette.
They are acceptable.
I agree with you. Yeah.
We need to understand that these are acceptable things. We've got no issue with them. But if we're talking about what Nkosi was saying, that there's abuse that's taking place, that if there's abuse, we as bystanders, as men, we have to now play a role. The thing is, where do we draw the line? Who is deciding what this abuse is? Because JSbu, you're 100% correct in terms of the imagery of, say, that picture. Who
on
is
that
leading
one,
the
Arthur,
conversation?
you're hitting something that I didn't have on the questions, but since we're there, we might as well talk about it. There was an incident in the other episode that a lady was telling me about, that a certain man was confronted, and because of his whole sexual harassment moves and everything, he was confronted, and his excuse was he didn't know what or where sexual harassment starts. Like, he said he didn't physically rape her or penetrate, so that whatever he did before that didn't count as harassment. So it was also a big question of, are men aware of what counts as sexual harassment, sexual assault, when it comes to how they handle women in their circle?
Honestly speaking, I don't think so. Because if we can look at it like in depth, we can actually see that there's a lot that as men that we do that we're not aware of. Like you could be in a relationship with someone, and there's just a night where she doesn't feel like it, but since you think but this is my person, like you can do whatever, and you say no, and it's still considered rape. You understand? I recently, honestly, I was shook about this, but I recently just found out something called non-consensual rape, where you can actually have sex with someone, but
it's considered rape. Yeah.
If they tell you no in the middle of the act and you don't stop, the rest of it is rape. If you decide to spank me or remove the condom, that is rape.
Exactly.
That is rape.
There's many levels of it.
Yeah.
We can agree. Then I remove the condom and it's rape. So I feel like that's also something that needs to be discussed. You understand? More people need to be made aware of, to say, guys, what exactly do we consider rape? Because someone can say, I'm not a rapist. I mean, she agreed to it. We wanted to do this together, but you find that part of it, there's something that went wrong that now can be considered
catcalling women. That is harassment.
So many girls are being raped by their boyfriends.
Yes.
Exactly.
And that is really painful, because that's the one person you trust, but you don't see it as rape because, that's my boyfriend.
Exactly.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
also on the part of the females, I think that conversation needs to be spread through all the genders, because if a female doesn't know what rape is, then she won't know that she's being raped. It's okay the morning
Mm.
after. Oh,
Mm.
I just had sex with my boyfriend. I might have not wanted to, but it happened. Move on. Oh, it's all great. And then you know what I mean. So
Mm.
that's a holistic conversation that needs to be had with all the genders, I feel.
You know, I am no prophet, but you know, the concern is that you know the female enlightenment has caused multiple movements to gain steam. But at the end of the day, I think the general amalgamation and fact that women are moving forward, I have to call every single guy out and just if they're listening, whoever's listening, you've got to understand that as women are being emancipated and they are becoming more and aware of their rights and they are finding new places in the workplace, in society, we as men, if we don't adjust, we are going to be caught on our heels.
Mm.
JSbu was talking very powerfully about the role of people. I personally, let me say something controversial here. I don't believe in gender equality.
True.
I believe in the correct roles of people.
Yeah.
What does this mean?
I believe
It
in
means
equity.
that if
Yeah,
your wife
not
is
equality, but equity.
if your wife is the CEO of a company and you're a stay-at-home dad, if these are the roles that we've decided and that you've accepted,
Comfortable with as
then
well.
let not
Yeah.
your sexuality be the
Mm.
exactly, guys, exactly. So if we as men collectively are not waking up and saying women are moving, we're going to get caught on our heels. I mean, the legislation around what is rape and what is not rape. A lot of people are potentially going to find themselves. A lot of men are going to find themselves in courtrooms answering very uncomfortable questions, and they're going to be none the wiser. And we one of our biggest threats, guys, talk to me about the bro code, because you know what? You see something going on, and you know it's
You just
wrong.
stick to
But you
this
know what?
bro code.
The bro code is that, you know, I can't really say much to Masterpiece because you know he's my boy. So you know the bro code kicks in. You know what I mean?
You see, Arthur, a bro code should never
Mhm.
exist. It shouldn't be something that anyone is following per se. But I want to jump on something that you said. You know, you mentioned something about women starting movements and they're going to catch us on our heels, etc., etc. Yes, they will, and that will happen at some point. But I think my role as a man is to be an ally. You know, to have the conversations that need to be had and to check the people that need to be checked and to do what it is that women feel is necessary for me to have an impact as a impact on their movement so that their movement can move forward.
That's actually my next question of how can like pastors, coaches, teachers, athletes, and all these influential males.
We definitely need to be allies of the women movement because a lot of women are struggling, man. Like, and I don't understand how people look at women, because we have sisters, Moss, and our sisters are going to be treated the same way that we are treating other women. How does that not? I struggle with how it doesn't click in your head.
It's a twisted thing.
That this is coming back to you, but it's not coming back to you directly. But your sister is going to go through the same thing that you're dishing out because you continue to push the narrative of toxic masculinity.
Yes.
And there's been a lot of talk on capital punishment as the perfect punishment for people for perps of the GBV. What's your stance on that? What's your stance on capital punishment?
That is a very this podcast. You need days on end. Firstly, I do believe capital punishment is murder, because it is killing someone based on a crime that they've committed. Again, I go back to my point. as society, our main focus should be on mental health and teaching men how to deal with their emotions. You can't simply kill someone just because they've committed a crime. You know what I mean? Like, I might not be elucidating the way that I'm thinking it right now, but I do feel that that is in some way, shape, or form murder. And imagine how many people we're going to have to kill. Imagine how many people we're going to have to kill who've indirectly or directly committed the crime. But as we've just discussed, a lot of people don't even know what rape is. Imagine how many people, but these are the people that need just to be taught different. And I'm not condoning these acts to be correct or whatever. I'm just saying that this one right here, capital punishment, is a fear-mongering thing. It's to create fear so that you don't commit a crime, which is great. But how many people are you going to be killing? We should be focusing on raising the black man right, and ensuring that the influences in his life speak to him being a right man.
I feel like the other thing that we need to look into is that gender-based violence is like, we always look at it from one point of view. The guys, like, gents are always wrong. Yes, I get that, and I feel like it needs to be looked at we need to look at all sides of this thing, because also there are women who falsely accuse guys of rape. There are women who now imagine you get falsely accused and now you need to die, and afterwards we find out that you're actually not guilty. There are men who have been in jail for years on years, until recently, when they check the cases and they find that actually this guy's not guilty, but you spend time already. And if you're now, it's not a thing of a case can be revisited if you are killed. So it's something that we really need to look into, like, in depth. I feel I strongly agree with what JSbu is saying, to say it really needs to fall back to how we are raised, the bringing up of young men, the mentality that needs to be fed to them from a young age, to say this is how you need to treat yourself. This is things you need to be aware of as a man. This is how you need to, do certain things. And we shouldn't even be afraid to express ourselves and how we feel. All my friends know that I'm one person who's very, like, when I have problems, I really reach out and talk. And you find there's other guys who be like, all the things. But I be like, I need to express myself, because if I can't find proper ways to express it, or people that I can express it to, it can create a big problem. So it really, that's also something we need to look into, both sides of the coin, you understand? Also get to speak to females to say, there are things that actually, start up these things, how you talk to your man also. That's why I think I agree with what Arthur says, to say we both have roles, in as much as it can't be a thing of equality, but there's certain things that is expected of a man, there's certain things that is expected of a woman. Yes. Even if I'm going to be, a house husband and you're the one working, but still there needs to be that form of respect that you give towards your husband or your boyfriend, so that we don't start up these little fights. So I'm the one bringing in the money, so you need to respect me. I'm now the one who wears the pants in this house. So it's really something that needs to now, it needs work, and it needs, in order for us to eradicate this mentality, I really believe that we need to start changing it and teach our children something that is totally different from what has been given to us from our parents.
Masterpiece, just a quick one for you, my brother, because
yes.
you're a musician, right? And I've been thinking about this for quite some time now, musically speaking. So when you make a song, don't you think it would be relevant for us as musicians, when we're making music, to speak of these kind of issues? Because I think that's another way.
Just like what Loiso Kijana just did.
Do you know what I mean? That song is beautiful, and I hear it playing on the radio all the time, and it speaks to a very, very, very deep problem. But I think it's our role and responsibility as creatives to try and make our music a teachable moment, not just an entertainment element only. We have the power to make a song that speaks to pain and agony and dealing with issues of life as a man and how to deal with them. And it's our responsibility to make sure that we put that across. Because if you listen to the music that's coming out today, and weirdly enough, I'm sorry to say this, because women, have you listened to the new Cardi B song with Lumdana Loba, Stallion?
Megan Stallion.
Do you realize how much the girls love that song?
That is a topic for another day.
Yeah, but
I'm going to tackle it.
Oh, okay, no, it's fine. But my point was,
to tackle it.
My point was, as creatives, I think incorporating the message,
music, and us as a speaker, speak about it.
Yeah,
go out there and preach to the men.
Funny enough, when the whole trend of gender-based violence started again on Twitter, I was on the wrong end, of the stick. I was on the receiving end of the stick because of my music. And initially, I don't want to lie, this wasn't something that I recorded, aware of. You say the message can be taken in a different way. When we recorded
different context, yeah.
I remember even with Lifeza, there was it became a problem because we do the same type of sound, we'd swear, we talk about girls, we talk about how fun it is going out and all those things, until we realized that actually there's people who take this message in the wrong way. And then there was a song that we created, you understand, and it spoke to gender-based violence, It was dropped by Lifeza. There's a version of mine that is coming in my album as well. So it's something that sometimes as creatives, we focus on the money, the glam, the glitz, and we tend to forget on telling the real story. So what is actually
there's people actually listening to your music and taking in the lyrics.
Exactly. There are kids right now who, like many people to this day, don't believe that I don't drink alcohol because of a track that I released called Tanqueray. To say, how can you release a song singing about Tanqueray, but you don't drink alcohol? And I realized that there's many people who are actually influenced by that, who are now drinking Tanqueray, who are drinking
because
just because
you.
they think Yes, you understand.
So look what you have
It
done.
was
you who started this movement. And funny enough, black people did. Wait, funny enough, how black people didn't know anything about Tanqueray, guys, or gin at all. It's gin if you mind. It's gin.
Black people knew Igordon.
Black
people knew Igordon. Nobody knew about Tanqueray.
There's part of Igordon. Wafigo masterpiece. Wafigo masterpiece. Let's say Tanqueray, man.
What's more Lingani?
That's what I'm saying. Now, you might not realize it. You might not realize it, and I think it goes to the question that you're talking about. To say athletes, all these
people of influence. How can you use your power?
You don't realize the number of people that you actually influence. Your brand speaks to someone. Someone is motivated by pictures they see of you. Busy flexing with cars, girls, all these things. They consider that a lifestyle and norm. And that's how they catch on to doing things, But so if we can start showing, treating women right, how to do certain things, believe you me, there's a lot of young kids that are going to change. And if you can actually take the new generation, it's a different generation. It's rare to find artists nowadays who are into drugs, who are I think we have like a new breed of artists, musicians, entertainers, actually. And it's a good thing to see, to say you're not following in the steps of, past musicians, now taking drugs and doing all these things. Yes, there are selected few that do that, but we have more control over ourselves as artists recently, because I believe we now see the influence that we have and possess, and the number of children that actually look up to us. Even not just children. I believe I have a lot of people in my hood who call me Grotman, but are older than me. And it now shows that there's something that I'm doing right, that is, challenging this person to change themselves because they see me as successful and they'd like to become that person. So influence plays a huge role, and I think we can start showing that, on social media. Let's stop lying and showing certain things that are not there. Let's actually show, how you treat your girl, how you do certain things. Believe you me, someone is going to be inspired by that, and they're going to
call out your fellow celebrity men, not to abuse the groupies.
True.
I'm going to leave it there.
that is a very I wanna if you wanna
trust and believe I'm going to have a part 2, and you're welcome to be on the panel.
I just want to say this. Okay, fine, right? The key point of this conversation is obviously narrowed towards what men can do. But there's another conversation that we need to
No,
have.
that one is yet to happen.
It's what I was
Trust
saying,
and believe.
Because everything is connected and it's one. Okay.
Okay.
But hey,
brilliant.
Masterpiece, just a quick one on you, boys. Hayi, masebekubiza iGrootman, masubiza abantu abadala kunawe iGrootman ntwana, you've made it, boy. You've made it.
Then that is
You've made it, boy. You've made it.
So Arthur.
If I can, I just want to comment on capital punishment is a no from me. Because of my religious beliefs, I don't believe in that. And people have different beliefs, it's fine. But that's my belief. Thou shalt not kill. And just to piggyback onto what JSbu was mentioned just now, is that the conversation has narrowed itself towards what men should do. And in The Power of Habit, written by Charles Duhigg, he gives an example of an American executive that became the head of the health department. And while he was the head of the health department, he realized that women were losing babies at an alarming rate when they were giving birth during their pregnancy and up to the point of birth and the recent period or a few weeks postnatal. Now, they were talking about figures of in excess of 16% of all childbirths in America were being lost. Children were being lost, pregnancies were being lost. The way they fixed it was not by, pumping medicine into the woman and, trying to incubate the children. They went to the curriculum in American schools and simply started teaching, especially the women, about hygiene. So the women had their own separate class about personal hygiene and why it's important to eat healthy food. This was across the curriculum. Skip forward about 10 to 15 years, child mortality rate at birth dropped to below 5%. My argument is this: we need a focal point as men. And one of the things that is failing us at the moment is society. We have a fragmented society that has got so many beliefs, so many opinions. We've got so many artists pulling this way, pulling that way, politicians pulling this way, pulling that way. Potentially what we need to do is we need to now rely on institutions that control a big portion of the narrative for children growing up. In most of the developed world, where I live, we still have the freedom to speak about Jesus Christ and Christianity in schools and allow religion to be taught in schools. In the absence of religion, and don't get me wrong, even if you teach religion, you'll still get people doing bad things. We need at an early stage, the minute children start going into school, we potentially need part of the curriculum to involve a strong message about GBV or what it is to be a man. JSbu must be talking about, being what it is to be a man, the different roles opening up. We need to start right at an early stage because unfortunately our society, the homes that we live in, they are not all fulfilling their mandate of raising a child the way a child is potentially meant to be raised so that we don't have these.
And that is so powerful. I remember when I was in high school, I went to girls' college in Zimbabwe. We had a little class called Life Skills and Etiquette. So if maybe such a thing could be available to guys in mixed schools or guy schools to teach them about how to treat women and how to be a man and not and to have the healthy masculinity and not the toxic masculinity and train it from a young age. It could do a lot of good.
And education is great. Getting good marks is great. But schools are, no offense to all the educators out there, but educators in today's age are looking at results and money and coming in to maintain the institution. We need institutions that are focused and geared with passion to develop the individual. Because when we leave school, the challenges that we're talking about, you don't get a certificate for passing GBV or rape class. You don't get employed for those things, but we get taught, we get thrust to pass examination boards for passing your language or passing your mathematics. We need the same thrust to push through social norms, social practices. Dare I say, other life coaches like myself, they should be positioned in every single school.
True. Wow. Thank you guys for your opinions. They were really deep. Arthur, what's your secret when it comes to coping with stress? I mean, how to stay focused regardless all the negative encounters, all the high expectations and like demands and criticism from people around you?
Oh, Banju, you just asked me what my secret is. If I tell you, it's not
But I mean, let the girl in.
Yeah, this is
Let the
secret,
girl
Babu.
in.
Please, we want to hear your secret.
Let the girl in.
My
What's
secret.
your secret? I
Oh.
mean, we could all benefit from it.
Share your secret, Babu.
Two things. Many years ago, I started training my mind, because your mind is like a muscle. I started training my mind to be of a positive disposition. So, positive reinforcement all the time helps me recover better. But when I'm struggling to recover, the one thing that I do is I take a moment and I breathe. I cut out distraction. And generally, I actually run to the hill that is higher than I. I run and I get down. I put my hands together and I say, Lord Jesus, I'm a man. I'm a man. I'm really, really a man. But here, the battle is not mine, and releasing that is so important. And that's why, like what Masterpiece was saying, allowing yourself or teaching yourself to speak to other people is so important, because when I don't have someone around me, my first port of call is always to he that is higher than me. Say, look, I don't have all the solutions. I'm not a perfect person, but I need help here.
True. Awesome. And Masterpiece, how do you stay afloat above the stress and stay focused?
I used to be a child that stressed a lot. I'd stress about everything. And back in high school, one of my adult teachers sat me down and spoke to me. She asked me a question to say, when you're stressing, there's basically two things you can do about whatever situation you're stressing about. You need to ask yourself, is there something you can do about it? Yes or no? If there is something you can do about it, then go ahead and do it. If there's nothing you can do about it, there's no need to stress about it, because you can't change it. So I think I've had that mentality moving forward, in life. I always look at situations to say, is there something I can do to change it? If not, I honestly try move my focus away from it, because it's going to depress me even more or stress me. So I always never focus on anything that brings depression or stress in my life, unless I know there's a solution to it, and I put my ways and efforts into making sure that, I can change it so that I'm not stressed about it. So that is me. I always try to be happy at all times. If I have a solution to something, I always try find a way, put my efforts into it. So that's me, basically.
Lovely. And JSbu?
Yo, for me, first and foremost, man, at the moment, there has to be God. There's a lot of stresses, and I'm a very sensitive person to energy. Like, I can sense the energy in the room, and it could literally cripple me and tear me into pieces, obviously depending on the environment. So
what's the energy in this room?
The energy in this room is no, actually I can tell you, even though it's online, and it's weird that I can even tell the energy when it's online. Like, there's a lot of liberated people in this room, and I'm really glad that this conversation is being hosted by a female. That's liberating, but also that's necessary. And I want to see more and more females having these conversations to empower other females out there. For me, it has to be God, the power of letting go. As Masterpiece just said, there are certain things that are not within your control, and you need to be able to identify what's not in your control so that you don't bother yourself about it, because it's not in your control. So then you focus on what you can control, which is you, and what you do on a daily basis to get yourself to the next level. Now, as a human being, for a very long time, and just to be personal a bit, for a very long time, I believed, and even if you go into my gram, you'll see that I'm always smiling, and people always ask me, why are you always smiling? It's like, no, I choose to portray that. But at the same time, for a very long time, I believed that being happy was the only important thing. But then I did a little research on the mind and the brain, and I got more holistic, and built a relationship with God. I realized as a human being, it's a balance of both being happy and being in a very cuck situation. Now, you need to embrace your happy moments as much as you embrace your cuck situations. And the art is not to suppress your emotions when dealing with things that are not pleasant in your life. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we're so quick to celebrate the good things, but we don't focus on the bad things. So from dealing with stress, anxiety, and just coping and just being a human, I've accepted the fact that life is both good and bad. And the bad things that happen to you in your life are meant to build you to be a better person. So for me, music has been another thing that has really just helped me navigate through the tough times, because I make music for the purpose of pleasing myself before others. I've been holding back on a lot of music. Like, I don't know whether Masterpiece knows or feels this or goes through this as well, but like, I have almost 100 songs that I haven't released.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting.
You're depriving us.
Not even depriving, but it's a matter of I make music. I've been making music for me. It's been a healing process for me, not for anyone else. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So only now whenever you DJing. So I'm yet to release some of the music this festive season. I'm gonna be dropping some tunes, but music has definitely been also my son, man. Like, I look at my son and I'm like, yo, I have a responsibility. Another human being is dependent on me. I don't have time for stress and having to deal with don. You know what I mean? But I deal with my emotions. I don't suppress them. So that's been definitely working for me so far.
Great stuff. Well, before you guys go, I'm a lover of fun, so I have 3 hot seat questions for you guys. Are you ready?
Are you ready? Oh, you're making me Mr. Clubs.
No.
You're making me Mr. Clubs. You know when the DJ is there, are you ready?
Ready.
Hey, yeah. You're making me Mr. Club too much right now, yo.
So
I can make a song out of that. Fuck. Make a song out of that. Yo.
Arthur, you're the first one to go.
Oh.
Yeah, because your name starts with A. Your name starts with A.
Good luck, Arthur.
Arthur, who's your superhero alter ego and why?
The mask. Every day of the week. I'm so freaking extra. It's ridiculous. Ooh,
and why?
I'm extra. Like, what? What you mean, why? It's just a predisposition. I'll refer to what JSbu was saying.
Yeah.
You've got to embrace the happy and the sad. There's a guy, he wrote a couple of books in the best-selling book in the world, the Bible, and he says, you count all things in all joy. I mean, hey, you know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
Amen. And Masterpiece, who's your superhero and alter ego?
Not many people like what I'm about to say, but I feel like the Joker.
Ooh.
Like,
yeah.
Whoa.
But I'm low-key with you on that one.
Trickery and deceit, eh? Trickery and deceit.
I'm with you.
And I feel like the Joker because he as I said before, I have like 2 sides to myself. There's this shy side and this crazy side that people see on stage. And that crazy side is just this quiet side expressing itself. That's me when I want to take out everything that is within. So like the Joker is like, I believe I wanna have fun throughout everything. I wanna do everything in a crazy way. I wanna be crazy, even if some people look at you and think, "Oh my gosh, look at this guy," and you're the villain. But I be like,
But you're just having the time of your
I
life.
won't have the time of my life, whether I'm considered good or bad, but I'm just living my life. So the Joker.
Okay.
Is it Jamatot?
Yes,
JSbu.
Santa. Yes, Santa. The only thing I
Listen,
want for Christmas.
you got
The one thing I want for Christmas.
eh?
I need to meet Masterpiece. Yes, Santa. AKA the Joker.
Jokers.
Yeah.
um,
And JSbu, don't disappoint. Look
no,
at the level.
for
The
me,
standard is high.
I'm not even going to try and disappoint you. But my reality is this, man. My alter ego is myself. Like
Okay.
I am an
Yeah.
entire alter ego, man.
No, but I want to know the superhero.
I am my own
I
superhero.
mean, okay.
I say that not to come across conceited, but I'm not gonna believe in something I don't know, and I know myself. I have control of myself. I know my story, and I know where I'm going, and I know what it's supposed to be.
Okay.
So my alter ego has to be myself. Like if you notice as well, a lot of people always ask me, why when Ndwana we busy with JSbu? There's so many sboos out there. Have you not noticed, Guti, how many sboos are out there? So many random sboos. But I decided to put the letter J in front of my name because one, I'm not just a DJ, I'm an entertainer overall. But at the same time, J stands for jovial. Jovial means fun and a happy person.
Okay.
You know what I mean? A fun, a lovely person, umuntu othanda izinto, yabo, like alright, umuntu othanda happiness and energy yakhe imnandi.
Okay.
So referring to myself as JSbu is my alter ego in that regard because I always want to remind myself that I am that person and that's what I strive to be.
Okay.
Not to
Awesome
make it not a
stuff.
fun moment because I'm not a superhero kind of person. But like, I am my own alter ego.
No, that's perfectly
That's
fine.
what's up.
Also, then I had cable in
So,
school. I didn't have cable growing up, so I didn't see some of these superheroes.
okay, Masterpiece, you're a new addition to the Crayon box. What color are you and why?
I think I'd be black.
Oh,
Why? Not to state the obvious, but why?
It's there's a lot that the color black.
They say black is not a color, it's a statement. So what you're saying right there is very powerful.
I've fell in love with the color black. I think you'll see it in my coming project. That it's all going to be based on black. It's just black everything because I feel there's a story that I need to tell. And it involves a lot about being young, black, and gifted. I feel like the color black is too much. It's a lot.
it's beautiful color, my brother. It's a beautiful
got that
color.
thing.
Conscious, there's just a lot when it comes to, the color black. And I mean, whenever I pull up, people gotta respect that, and understand that this is a black brother who's conscious. Actually, I'm not just an artist, but I'm very, very, very much so a conscious person. So yeah, I think black.
And Arthur, what color are you?
Yo, the pressure. Oh my God. Oh wow. It's honestly, if white could come out really nicely, I would want to be white because I always love seeing people win. I love success stories. I'm the hype man. I'm the cheerleader. I want to see people excel in their lives.
Yeah, I mean, any color that you mix with white,
It's a very easy color.
it lightens up.
True. It's true.
Yeah, it just complements everything.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so even in conversation with people, I'm sure all of us here, we could dominate the conversation very easily. But I like to compliment. If I need to be dominant, I'll be dominant. But if I need to be quiet, I'll be quiet. I always just try and let people find their space and be comfortable around me so that at the end of the day, they feel a little bit uplifted.
Nice. And last but not least.
And weirdly enough, guys, I'm not saying this to be corny or anything like that. But the two of you mentioned black and white, and my favorite color of all time happens to be gray, which is a combination of black and white.
Yes,
Oh
talk about
wow.
I'm not trying.
energies combining and
I'm
cooperating.
not trying to
Yeah.
impress you. I mean, I'm not trying to impress you or anything like that, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? So a big part of who I am as a person, so I'd have to say gray is my color, because I'm a big part of who I am is to adapt. I've noticed, like in life, whether you black, whether you white, whether you Indian, or whether you colored, I can go into a whatever community. I can go to Soweto. Give me a week, and I'd know the culture, and I'd adapt. And uzongeza ngikhuluma already njengomuntu wase Soweto, because I'm easy with the adaptation. So
You're a chameleon.
yeah, man, I'm a chameleon, and funny enough, that's one of my we recently did a personality type thing here at East Coast Radio, where we were identified
That's
as
a spirit animal.
Yes, chameleon is my spirit animal, actually. So they did a test and whatever, and they figured out, Uguti, I'm a person who's adaptable. I'm a person who loves to be celebrated in terms of my achievements. I'm very dramatic in the way that I do things, but that's who I am. I'm a very adaptable person, and I think gray best describes who I am, because I can switch to black when it's time to switch to black. When it's time to switch to white, I can switch to white.
You do the damn things.
Not to be cheesy, gents. It's not about you, gents. It's not about you. It's
I like it.
Okay.
You make the point.
So it's been awesome having you guys here. I know we went a little bit over the time. That's expected with the women, but okay, it was a deep conversation.
Man, it's true. Thank you so much for having me.
Arthur, what's your piece of advice before we go to the young men and the young women out there on pushing their passion and taking up space in our current times?
Every month I run with a theme on my social media, and I'll go back to my January theme.
Okay.
Remember why you started. Remember why you started. You may have given up on certain things, and there's certain things that you're aspiring towards, but remember why you want to start this thing. The reason behind it is for you to succeed and to impact lives for the good. Not only your life, but other people's lives. Believe in yourself, because that very same thing that you have passion for, that you want to do, that you want to bless others with, you've got to start. And if you on that path, keep on going. If you stop, pick it up again. Please remember why you started.
True.
Beautiful.
And Masterpiece?
Growing up, I was always the child who would fail a lot. I failed dismally in varsity.
In academics.
Yeah, in varsity. But I was smart, actually. I passed my first year, but then it became difficult. And until I'd found my purpose, then I realized that all along I was not living up to who I am, but to other people's expectations of my life. So in life, I feel you always have to find yourself, find your purpose, and stick to it, because that's what could work for you. If I hadn't found my purpose, if I hadn't stuck to it, I wouldn't be Masterpiece today. I'd still be considered Tabang, who's supposed to be an IT geek today, but still
the quiet, shy one.
Yes, but then I found something actually that God has brought me into this world for. So I believe that there's a quote, I don't know by who, but it says, you start living the day you find your purpose. So that is what I believe. As young people, we need to find our purpose. Stop wanting other people's lives, because there's something special about your life that you can actually, give up to other people as well. So it all falls down to your purpose. Find your purpose, believe in yourself, and stick to whatever it is that you know.
And Jovial Spoon.
Jovial. Don't call me Jovial. That's JSbu. No, actually, weirdly enough, what Arthur said and what Masterpiece said are very connected, and in some way it speaks to what I would actually say as advice to other people out there is, I pray that you live long enough to know why you were born. And to find your purpose, and I that's a prayer of mine every single day, that I pray for myself and I pray for other people to live long enough to know why they were born. But on a more straightforward level, is to learn how to deal with your emotions, not suppressing them, and also just learning how to deal with your past self. As human beings, our brains operate in the past. I don't know whether you guys have even thought about this, but our brains operate in the past. So whatever happens in the past, in some way, shape, or form, and will inevitably affect who you are at present. And that is who you are. You are your past at present. And it's such a weird thing because I can't see you guys. Otherwise, I would be using my hands to describe exactly what it is. But you live in the past, and so don't suppress your past. Go back, deal with what affected you and what was the problem in your past, so that you're able to paint a better picture for your future. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be a vulnerable human being. There's nothing wrong with that. The people that laugh at you are the people that are not meant to be a part of your life. It is your responsibility as men, directly. This one is for the men in particular. It is your responsibility, and by design, to protect women. We need to be allies of women. And if women are crying, we need to be allies of their cry, and we need to try our best to support their cause so that we can see change. Just like how black men, I mean, I'm not really satisfied with the amount of progress black men have made in our society at the moment. And it's all distorted with different messages of corruption and whatever. Don't. But I don't think black men have really achieved what the purpose of coming out of the struggle of the apartheid was all about. And it's still a bit of a mission. But you need to call out the people that are doing the wrong things. You need to have conversations with your friends, but at the same time, you need to make sure that your circle is right. That is the best way to grow up. Select the people you want to be in your life. That's the advice I would give to both men and women, I think. Yeah.
Awesome stuff. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for spilling your beans with me.
Arthur, what's your Instagram? I saw Masterpiece. I Googled
Exactly.
you.
I was about to ask each of you to tell us where we can find you, where we can find your work.
What's your gram, Arthur?
It's Arthur Evans, ZW, ARTHUREVANS. I'm actually going to drop you guys an email because, I actually just want to celebrate you guys this coming week. I'm going to ask you guys for pictures of yourselves. I actually want to post you guys and just say, I met some really incredible guys. Thanks to Nkosi. Nkosi,
This
thank you
is
so
cute.
much.
I'm promoting some bromance here.
Yeah. 100%.
See you, Arthur. I'm following you now, Arthur. And then Masterpiece.
Where can we find Masterpiece?
At Masterpiece_YVK on all platforms.
Followed Masterpiece now. So good.
And yourself, JSbu?
JSbu official is easy. But I've just followed the two of them, so that they'll see a notification coming through now.
Awesome stuff.
Also,
all this information is going to be there on the description box for those of you that want to follow their work.
Yeah. Also, one goes, just a funny story.
Yeah.
How weird is it that we're having this conversation today on the basis of I jumped on your Instagram live? You remember when you were doing an Instagram live, guys?
It's really interesting.
Okay, so I'm bored and stuff. Yeah, lockdown vibes. You know what I mean? There's not much to do. I'm scrolling through all the people that are live, and then I come across Unkos, and she's sitting in the pose. I mean, she had about maybe 5-10 people viewing her shandis, and I'm just like, okay, let me watch this. And then she's like, oh my god, JSbu's on my mind. Oh my god, JSbu's on. And then her boyfriend is just like, can we have a conversation? It's like, oh my god, JSbu's on the hood. And she just freaked out. And then I was like, yo, DM me, man. I'm chilled. Like, people don't think I'm chilled, but I'm very chilled, man. I'm very chilled.
No, it's really an honor. Take care, guys. Be safe.
Thank you so much, man. This was incredible.
Still counts.
Yes, guys.
But angidlale le nto uthi followish mase ungafollowish back angidlale lo game.
Same following.
Guys, siyaqabana chance. We'll talk some other time.
Guys, have a lovely evening.
100%.
Mocha, guys. Mocha.
Stuff, guys.
Gosi, thank you so much for having us. This was great, man.
My pleasure. Thanks to you guys. Have a lovely evening.
You too.
Bye. Showcase.
Bye.
And And it's a wrap. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you found it informative, and I hope you had just as much fun listening in as I did chatting with the guys. It was really eye-opening, and you can follow the guys on their Instagram at masterpiece_YVK, at JSbu official, and at other Evans ZW. I'm leaving all this information in the description box, and you guys feel free to reach out to them. And if you have any questions about today's episode or any of the other episodes, feel free to DM me as well on my Instagram at nkosi.pile. I'm leaving you guys with Amanamba Pela by Masterpiece featuring Virgo Deep. Enjoy, stay safe from your bean with the biggest love.
Ngabamba ngafasa ngadakwa ngakhohlwa nokuthi ngithathe inamba wangibamba ngalahla sahamba wanamba uphisa ungadlili lana ngabamba ngafasa ngadakwa ngakhohlwa nokuthi ngithathe inamba wangibamba ngalahla sahamba wanamba uphisa ungadlili lana ebengicela amanamba hayi ngicela amanamba phela hayi ngikhohlwa amanamba ngikhohlwa amanamba ayithini ebengifuna amanamba hayi ngifuna amanamba phela hayi ngikhohlwa amanamba hayi ngikhohlwa amanamba ayithini mina naphezulu ukuthi ngibheke phezulu nentombi yomzulu ingane kamngomezulu mina naphezulu ukuthi ngibheke phezulu nentombi yomzulu ingane kamngomezulu mina naphezulu ukuthi ngibheke phezulu nentombi yomzulu ingane kamngomezulu mina naphezulu ukuthi ngibheke phezulu nentombi yomzulu ingane kamngomezulu noma yelele awusibonge yawelele mayi mnandi yangithelele yiya baba angideshele shis noma yelele awusibonge yawelele mayi mnandi yangithelele yiya baba angideshele lengoma ayikale phezulu ebengicela amanamba hayi ngicela amanamba kuphela hayi ngikhohlwa amanamba ngikhohlwa amanamba ayithini ebengifuna amanamba hayi ngifuna amanamba kuphela hayi ngikhohlwa amanamba hayi ngikhohlwa amanamba ayithini mina naphezulu ukuthi ngibheke phezulu nentombi yomzulu ingane kamngomezulu mina naphezulu ukuthi ngibheke phezulu nentombi yomzulu ingane kamngomezulu
More music at iminatli.com.